All right, welcome everybody to today's 10 Steps to Success training. My name is Jeremy Jenkins. As always, it's a pleasure to be able to share with you some wisdom that I've been able to pick up over the years on how to do our business correctly to make sure that we're having the most success possible. So as we know, let's just review really fast. We went over step number 1, which is all about defining your why and understanding, what it is that motivates us, that's helping us to stay here and actually accomplish these 10 steps that we want to do, right? Because they're not necessarily hard, but they're not easy either, right? We need to actually have that motivation. We need to know why we're here. We need to have the definition of the success that we're looking for, right? All out there, so we know when times get hard, when things get tough, we can stick with it and keep going, right? That's number 1. We talked about step number 2, which is all about creating your team and creating your list and starting to, prospect and figure out who you want to work with and build with, right? We talked about step number 3, which is setting those goals of how many contacts you're going to do every day. What is your income level you want to be at in 90 days from now? What you're going to do to continue along that path. Step number 4 was all about being committed and actually treating this as an actual business, not just a hobby, right? And saying, yes, I'm here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to accomplish it. Number 5 was all about personal development and obtaining the skill set we need to be able to go out and, actually do the business correctly. Step number 6 was about staying connected, right? Being able to plug in, to be able to be on the Zoom calls and going to the meetings and being part of the whole process, so that we're always recharging our batteries and making sure that we're having the latest information, so we're not left behind. Step number 7 was all about inviting and how to actually talk to people. Now that we have all of the previous steps ready, now we're ready to go out and talk to people. We're ready to invite them and have that posture, because we have the cookie, right? We know what we're about to do. So today we're going to talk about step number 8, which is learning the biz. Okay. So, this is super important. Everybody needs to actually understand what it is we have and why this is something that I like to call a 5-star opportunity. Okay. Now, first thing we need to understand is that our model actually is better, right? If you've ever studied, the whole history of Eric Worre and his, GoPro and everything, he says it's a stone cold fact that we have a better way. Now let's go tell the world, right? And it's not that it's perfect, okay? It's not that what we're trying to do is not going to have obstacles, or it's not going to have, things that happen and drama and all that stuff. That happens everywhere, okay? But it is just a better way than the traditional going to work 9 to 5 for 40 years and then hoping you have enough to retire on, right? And per the IRS, unfortunately, less than 5% of people actually retire with enough money to live on, and they're dependent on the government. They're dependent on the church or family or whatever. It's just really sad. So we have a better way. Why? Because it's going to help people actually achieve their goals and dreams faster. Not perfect, but it's definitely better. And then, of course, Jim Rohn teaches formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Okay, so that's what we have to understand. Number 1, understanding the biz means understanding our model actually is better. It just is. And if people, can understand that, if people can just get over their, their pride, maybe get over their, the influence they've had in the past. Oh, it's a pyramid scheme. It's it's one of those weird, Ponzi thingies or whatever. If they can get over that and understand that there's actually real legit opportunities out there that aren't scams, right? And just be open to that, they're going to actually start having success along with us. Okay. So that's what we need to do. Understand why our model is better, because it just is. All right. Now, the other thing we have to understand is, now that we accept that our model is better, now there's a lot of opportunities out there, but what you want to find is the 5-star opportunity, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the opportunity that actually has what I call 5-star, because there's 5 things you really want to look at to make sure it's legit, that it's something that you can be proud of, and that it's not going to disappear on you, that kind of stuff, right? So we're talking about having the right training resources, the company itself, right? We're talking about the product, we're talking about the compensation, we're talking about the timing, and that all these different things that we need to understand about our biz. So when people ask us, we can, with all the confidence in the world, say, hey, yeah, this is a 5-star opportunity. Okay, so let's look at the first thing, training resources. Now, this is something that a lot of companies, most of them have, right? That this isn't so much a distinguishing factor as what some of the others might be, but definitely if you're looking for an opportunity, that you got to understand, hey, you know what, this company provides me with everything I need. They've got the training, they've got the videos, they've got the documentation, they've got all the stuff, right? Training resources, and who's behind the company, who's behind what's making it all happen, right? That's what we need to understand so that we can actually have success, right? We can actually do all the previous 7 steps that we were talking about, because the company is providing that for you, whether it's the company itself or the leadership in the company, right, that's providing it. But you got to have the training resources and the tools, right? All of the tools that you need, having an app, having an amazing replicated website, having awesome videos that you can share with people, all of that, okay? Super, super important. And then using them, understanding how they work, how to get the app, how to share the videos, doing the daily method of operation stuff, right? All those things that are being provided to you basically for free, just because you're part of the team, okay? So that's super important. We want to go in and understand all of those things. Now, the next thing we really need to understand is how to enroll. Okay, because if we don't know how to enroll somebody, we're dead in the water, right? This is a people business, and it's about attracting people to the opportunity, and whether it's because they just want to use the product, or if they want to actually, build a business with you, they've got to be part of your team, right? So this is step number 1, understanding how enrollment works, how to share your website with somebody and have them go through the process, select their country, all that kind of stuff, right? That's what we need to make sure we have. And we have some tutorials that are pretty good. And, so make sure you've gone through the tutorials, that you understand it yourself, that you could walk somebody through doing an enrollment, right? That is the key thing. Okay, it's the number 1 step, right, to doing all of this is actually joining and being part of it. Okay. Then, of course, you're going to understand your back office, right? You're going to be able to, want to go in and see, okay, how does this work? What are the different reports, right? How do I see my commissions? What are the resources? Where can I, buy my product? All the different things. And a good back office is going to offer a ton of stuff, and it can get complicated, right? But luckily, the current back office we have is amazing. And we're going to be able to go in and see those reports, and they actually have training on how to use the back office. If you have questions, get with your sponsor, or jump on with me or somebody, and let's go through it, right? We can go through each of the different sections. We can look at the different reports. We can see how to look up graphically and see who's placed with who and all that kind of stuff. It's all there, and admittedly, it's a lot, right? It's not always the easiest thing to go in and figure it out, but take the time. Take the time to go in and learn your back office, understand where all the reports are, and how it all works. Because when you do, that's what it's for, right? It's a system. It's a reference, a tool that you have to be able to see how your business is doing, what how your team is doing, who's active, who's not active, all that kind of stuff, right? So super, super important to understand your back office. Okay, then of course we're going to understand our products, right? So yeah, right now we've got amazing wellness products, and we've got travel, right? These are our products, okay? And that will evolve over time, and things may get added or taken away or whatever. But as things get launched, because that's what always happens, right? They do usually a national convention, and they'll release a new product, a new service, a new opportunity, a new something, right? So the job that we have is to learn the product, be a product of the product, buy some of the products and use them so you can share how they make you feel, what you liked about them. Use the travel, use the what we have here, and make sure that you can actually share your own personal testimonial of how much you saved and where you went and how it worked and all of that stuff, right? Now, if we can be products of the products, then we can, that's what it's all about. It's all about telling the story, right? We share a story with people and they want to hear our story, right? That's what we are. We're very sociable, as people, most of us, right? Whether we're doing it online or in person, but we like to share, okay? And we like to get recognition, and we like to, I would hope we like to help other people. And so if that's our goal, is to actually bless other people's lives and help them, then yeah, we're going to use the product so we know how they work, so we can share that with others and tell them that story. Okay, then we're going to understand who the leaders are, right? We're going to understand who we can go to for questions, for three-way calls, for training, all that kind of stuff, right? The leadership is super, super important. So you always want to make sure that, you friended them on Facebook, or you followed them on Instagram, or you got them on your messenger, right? Or you've got their phone number so you can text them, whatever, okay? Don't be shy. Don't be shy about finding out who the leaders are and who are the experts in the different things, and reach out, right? Share and take advantage of the experience, because not everybody knows everything, right? It's just like, to use a sports analogy, not everybody can be a quarterback, and not everybody can be the punter, right? Not or basketball, not everybody can be the center or a guard or a forward, right? Everybody has different talents and different abilities, and as a team we make it work, right? As a team we say, oh, okay, this person can do this part, oh, but that person's really good with this kind of thing, and oh, maybe I'll ask her how she shared the product with this person, right? There's always something to be learned from everybody, because we all have different experiences, different professions, different background, and it's awesome that you pool all that talent, and now we all achieve more because we're actually utilizing each other's abilities. It's awesome. Okay, then of course we want to understand how the compensation plan works, right? Super, super important to understand. There's a lot of things that go into a comp plan, and just understand why it pays what it does, to understand what you got to do to achieve the different ranks, maybe, or the different bonuses, right? Because in the end, most comp plans, are pretty decent, right? Whether it's a binary or a unilevel or a matrix or whatever, they all have their pluses and minuses. They all have their advantages, disadvantages. And so it's just a matter of saying, okay, well, what is my comp plan, right? How does it work? What do I need to do? What are the requirements? How do I stay active? What do I got to do for my team so that they are active and qualified, and and how can they maximize it? And what do they got to do to to build up towards the next rank and to earn the more money and all that? So if you can understand the comp plan, right? Really dive in, download the PDF document, study it, go through it. If you have questions, ask those questions, and just make sure you're telling people that, hey, this is what you got to do, right? Because comp plans, they're developed to drive behavior. That's what they're for, right? The comp plan is trying to drive behavior, and whether it's to, hey, the behavior we want is for you to go and get customers, right? Versus affiliates. Okay, that's one thing that a comp plan might drive. Or another thing might be, hey, we're interested in people going and selling these bigger packages, maybe, or things like that, right? And so they put incentive onto certain behaviors so that you'll go do it, because that's the point, right? Is to incentivize so that we go to action. Okay, so a comp plan is an action plan. That's really what it is, that is rewarded. Okay, so understand the comp plan, but don't be frightened by it. Okay, don't take it to an extreme where you're like, oh, it's so complicated, that you just freeze and you're like, I don't want to do it. Just remember the analogy that a comp plan is like the engine of a car. Okay, now you don't have to understand what the spark plugs do, or how the carburetor works, or what the fuel injectors do, and all that stuff, right? And you don't have to know that to be able to drive. Okay. It's a good idea to kind of have a basic understanding, right? Oh, I put gasoline in, right? It goes in, it does this, and the engine then, does combustion, and it creates the force to, propel, right? And all that. And you have your electrical system and all that. Now, it's a good idea to have just an understanding of how a car works, right? But you don't have to be a mechanic to know how to drive. Okay. So don't be scared by that. Don't think that you got to master the comp plan before you go out and share. No, all you got to know is, hey, if I put gas in, which is, bringing people to the team and having them, purchase products and services, then that's the fuel. Now I just have to know how to drive, right? And it takes practice, of course, but you just get out there and you do it. And, if something is complicated or whatever in the comp plan, don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. Just know that if you go and do what they're saying, which is to bring people and have them, do volume in the comp plan, then it's going to pay you, and it's going to pay you well, right? But over time, you can learn it, understand it, and kind of pick up on some of the tricks and tips that might make it even better and give you even better performance. Okay. All right. Then, of course, we want to understand the importance of timing, right? Because all companies go through 3 phases. They go through a formulation phase, a momentum phase, and then a stabilization phase. Now, it's okay. Any company out there, you could join it at pretty much any stage, right, and be successful. But you're going to have the most chance of having success if you can join during formulation, right before momentum. Okay. In the first couple of years of a company, that's the best time to get involved. Now, it's the bumpiest time, of course. That's when, things are still being defined. That's where things are still being tried out a little bit, that there's always going to be, more of a, more of it like an adventure, right? One of the things I remember from Eric Worre, he taught on that was, there's pretty much, these 3 stages. It's like the formulation stage is like being in the jungle. Right? If you're in the jungle, you got quicksand, you got snakes and spiders and whatever, and you got your machete and you're just hacking through trying to find that hidden treasure, right? It's dangerous, it's uncomfortable, there's mosquitoes, right? And it's hot, whatever. And so not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody's brave enough maybe to get in at the beginning in the formulation stage. Then you get into momentum, and that's more like, oh, okay, now, hey, guess what? Now we've got, it's kind of more defined, it's on the map. There's actually maybe a dirt road, right? And some, some trading posts along the way and everything. And so now it's like, okay, it's more comfortable. I can do this, right? The path is clear. I can see where it's going. I can see where the destination is. And so people start to join like crazy, and it starts to go into momentum. And then stabilization is when it's all, paved and, everything's comfortable and there's air conditioning and the whole deal. And that's when the masses want to come in. But you know what? By that time, the opportunity is still there, but it's not near as what it could be, because the momentum is when it goes exponential, right? So that's where we're at, right? That's where we want to be, in something that is solid and stable, of course, but in the formulation stage where we can take the most advantage of this before it gets out to the entire world, because then we can make our fortune. Okay. All right. So in conclusion, here's what we got. We have a 5-star company, right? We have the resources, okay? We have the leadership, we have the product, we have the compensation, and we have the timing. Those are the 5 things you want to look at and really understand as you decide, if you were deciding, not that we haven't decided already, but as you talk to prospects, right? That's what you want to share with them, so they understand, oh, why this is a 5-star opportunity, because there's a lot of companies out there. Thousands of companies you could join and be part of and promote. And if you look at them, most of them are going to be lacking, right? They're not going to have all the same things, right? There's certain companies been around now for, 30, 40 plus years. And so that timing star is just not there anymore, right? And they're solid, and they got good leadership, and they have great products and stuff. Maybe their compensation's okay, but their timing, terrible, right? So there may be just a 4-star opportunity. okay? Or maybe you have something that's brand new and it's got some resources, got some leadership, but maybe their product is just terrible and it's all about compensation, right? They're always just talking about compensation. That's all people want to talk about, how amazing the comp plan is and stuff, but their product sucks. It's like, what? Why would anybody even buy that product, right? They're all only here to just make money. Well, then again, that's only a 3 or 4 star opportunity, right? Or maybe, vice versa. Maybe they have amazing product, right? It's the most amazing product you ever saw in your life, and it does these amazing things, and that's good, right? But they don't have resources, or their compensation plan is terrible. And you're like, I wish I could make more money on this amazing product, right? So there's all kinds of things to look at, and what we have here, we have the cookie, right? We have all 5 things. We have stuff that nobody else, well, maybe there's a few others maybe out there that are 5-star opportunities, but ours is for sure, right? Ours is the most amazing 5-star opportunity you've ever seen. And so let's go out and do this. As Jim Rohn said, let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. And finally, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Okay. So let's take advantage. We have a better way. As Eric Worre says, don't fall into the 40-year and then retire plan. It's not worth it. Okay. This is definitely the answer, right? It's networking, it's leveraged income. It has all the advantages of being able to, in this modern day and age of doing a combination of both old school and new school, right? With social media and, all the different things that we're going to teach. This is a 5-star opportunity for you to change your lifestyle and actually achieve early retirement, not in 40 years, not in 20 years, but literally within a couple of years at the most. If you do it right, if you follow the 10 steps, you could be completely retired in the next few years. And that is what we want for everybody. So thanks again for joining me today. Hope that was helpful. Let's go out and do step number 8. Let's learn the biz. And then join me again next week for step number 9. We're going to talk about leadership. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great Saturday.